Your mics are hot, eh? Martha Karua is quoted as saying that the most unfortunate thing happening now in the Kenyan political space is women parliamentarians agreeing to become praise choirs for male groupings seeking to succeed the current president. Then Alice Ohome, who is in studio, is quoted as saying that you see all these divisions are brought about by this confusion from BBI. And men started these exchanges. Why would women remain silent when they are insulted? Of course, it's okay for everyone to get a fair share of what they want to say, but when you hear the attacks, the sentiments that are coming from the Garissa Member of Parliament, Woman Representative Anna Absubo, what came from the Member of Parliament for Laikipia County, that is Ketu Aruguru, and so many other voices, including that from Millie Odhiambo, talking about what happened in the Kibera bedroom per se. I mean, what are you telling the country and also young girls that want to aspire one day, they want to be leaders?
You know, traditionally, women have always been center of stability, okay? For the nation, for the home, even as men go to fight, they bring people together, you know, as a source of unity. And I don't believe that by going to parliament or by being women leaders, you must become a man or be seen to do things that men are seen to do, okay? You see, this headline is very deliberate. This, I don't want to speculate, but I'm sure it's done very deliberately to show women appearing like being in a cat fight, being in a cat fight over men and men's agenda, and to put them in bad light. So a lot has been done. Beijing, 20 plus years to get the kind of quotas we have as a country, and we must do everything we can to consolidate those gains. What we are seeing now with the kind of division, with the kind of utterances, the kind of abuses that are not issue-based, are really shedding our women leaders in bad light. You know, and it has to end.
And speaking of shedding light on women, bad light on women, or about Alice, why is it that when it comes to your members, it's quite difficult to get them in line when it comes to the insults that we've seen in rally in, rally out? Because at the end of the day...
I don't know which members you are talking about. Possibly you are referring to the statement by Ketu Aruguru and Anab.
Yes.
I want you to measure that statement, which actually they were directing to the Honorable Raila Odinga. I want you to measure that.
But Ketu Aruguru is attacking the governor of Kirinyaga.
The governor of Kirinyaga. I want you to measure that with the statement that Millie Odhiambo, who is actually a veteran politician, made in Kibra, where she said, walimalizana, walikuwa wanataka kuingia bedroom, na walimalizana na wao kwa sitting room, and without a CD.
Oh, I didn't know you were going to say that.
Yeah, no, without a CD. No, why? It is already in print. It's already in the... I don't know, I'm not repeating it for purposes of... I'm repeating it for purposes of this debate, where we have already put out there what they have said. I mean, the media, the people are already with these statements. And it's good to analyze them with the same weight. And I want you to see that possibly when you look at the two that you are referring to and the background upon which these statements and reactions were being made, there was, of course, there is bitterness. There is the case of Anna, who was herself, no apology has come. Herself, she was actually intimidated and beaten up in Kibra. And I think, for me, I'm not excusing any maybe because the public opinion really also matters. But I think her statements were directed at the leader, who Raila Odinga, who was actually the owner of these groups in Kibra. Then when you come to Ketu Aruguru, Ketu Aruguru, I don't know. You know, these are also, they are learning. They are learning. And I take offense with the statement, with the idea that women MPs nasty fight over Ruto and Raila. Are we really fighting over Ruto and Raila? You have put this.
Honorable Alice, regardless of who you're fighting for, those utterances, would you okay them? And why is it not possible? You're saying that Ketu Aruguru is learning. You in your second term.
They are all learning. They are all learning. They're all learning. And there are so many statements that have been actually made, very bad and ugly statements of violence.
Honorable, do you admit there's a problem?
And we have condemned. There could be a few issues that we can deal with, but what I want to say here is, let us not give women leaders a different yardstick.
Okay.
Let us not condemn. You know, I would want you to see a headline like this.
Okay.
For men.
And for men.
All right.
So that you now don't come here and say that women who are trying to come up in politics in this particular environment, where even the role models are the same people, that then we have some different set of behavior, some different set of conduct. I think I would expect that this will be great leaders going forward.
All right, before I come to Wanga, before I come to Wanga, still on you, Honorable Alice Wahome, you're saying that you'd like to see an article like this still on men, that the same yardstick that men use should be used on women.
Yes. If it is name and shame, I want you to put Raila on front page.
Raila,
I want you to
all
put
the men.
Kamanda.
Yes.
I want you to put Uhuru here.
So if you're disagreeing with this article,
the owner of some of this Jubilee, is the owner of the
Jubilee. So Honorable Wahome,
if you're agreeing with this article, women MPs in nasty fights.
Hold on, you know you are interrupting. Put Raila here. Put Ruto here, put Uhuru here, put Kamanda here, put all these men first before you come to reduce women.
Fair enough.
I think let the media actually help to nurture women. And I think let's offer positive criticism.
Okay, how can you throw the responsibility of nurturing women back to us? Is there a problem when women from across the board speak the way they do and they use the excuse that men are also doing it?
Well, I think what I want to say is, first of all, the idea of having, women's voices being heard in these processes. For example, Embrace's voice being heard in the BBI process and so on, and Inua doing whatever they're doing in terms of empowerment and so on. I think those were good, because women have been in the backseat. So I think when women come to the front and their voices are heard on issues, and I respect the women who spoke here, and they said, I do not agree with the BBI, for example. I think that is a point. If you don't agree, and the women's voices must be heard on these issues, But then, what is unfortunate is when we sink down to the level of insults that we saw in Eldoret. I think that must be condemned. Not all the women, but the women who are speaking the way they were. I think we must discourage.
And I was coming to
we must discourage the politics of attacking, especially fellow women, and especially with reproductive issues.
Thank you. I was coming to that. Why is it that the insults by women?
That must be. That's just
why is it that insults by women or towards women, either in politics, it's not based on ideas, it's sexual insults towards women?
That, in fact, must be. In fact, I wouldn't have minded if Kate said she disagrees with Anne Waiguru for supporting, being a Jubilee governor, for supporting an ODM candidate in Kibera. That, that is a point made, and it is a good point. But then, to come and say, mtu ameolewa juzi, sijui, all that kind of language is unacceptable. And we must, and even as we say this, it is totally unacceptable. We must learn to make our points, to disagree on our, in principle of the issues. But then also, the women rep for Garissa, the kind of language she spoke, totally unacceptable. We must come back as women and say, we want our voices to be heard. We don't have to agree, but we must disagree respectfully.
But seriously, what are we talking about here? We have just had a very good discussion on the violence, on the statements in Kibra. Honorable Gladys Wanga, this double standards that affect and intimidate women, does not see anything wrong with the Sifuna statement, anything wrong with the others, but she finds something wrong with the statements of Kate.
All right.
I think that is double standards, and that's what I'm saying. The women are learning.
We're running out of time. I want her to make her
the women are
learning.
I want to say this. The topic is about women. We were discussing women.
No, you found us halfway.
No. I've had the topic started when I'm here about women. So the women issue, we are discussing women issue. We are not saying the men are doing better, but the topic is about us.
Right.
The issue is embrace to set the agenda straight, discuss issue-based issues. Inua the same, but podium abuses and insults about sexual utterances cannot help women in any way.
Oh, all right. In closing, so what is the solution?
You know, when you look at parliament, when you look at parliament,
we discipline Birio Thiambo. Then we discipline Kate Warugu.
Okay.
When you discourage, how do you discipline? You're not in a position of discipline.
All right.
You know, when you look at parliament, right from its inception, and the women coming in parliament, when women were being nominated, there was a need to create a caucus for all women.
Right.
And that's why we had Kewopa in the National Assembly when it was there. And I worked for parliament, and I know how vibrant Kewopa was in dealing with women issues and in agitating for better empowerment and better conditions for women. Now, if these ladies, it's not about their party leaders or whatever it is, whether it's being overrun by cartels or favors, as I've heard being called, or whatever it is, then why can't they come together under the caucuses in parliament if they are all about empowerment of women and development? They have the structures within parliament of how women should operate and agitate for women's affairs, because some of them are actually only nominated to look at women issues. And that is their constituency, women. So why can't they come together?
All right, that's the
they shouldn't get lost in all this euphoria.
I want us to take a look at the feedback that has been sent through via Twitter, as it is in TV Kenya, on what you're saying, the hashtag being Daybreak. We'll begin with well, this is Steve. You said that, just listen to this. Kenyans should also shun from being used as instruments of violence. Being given money to cause chaos in elections is hooliganism, and we as Kenyans should avoid this. If politicians want us to vote them in, let them come with permanent solutions to the problems affecting the people.
All right, still sticking on Twitter, use the hashtag Daybreak. Dennis, you say, I don't think Simbarati should be arrested because the cause of violence was voter bribery that was dealt with and everything calmed down.
Then Samoa India says it's now becoming an undisputable norm that women are becoming catalysts, praise choirs, fueling issues leading into deaths. Uganda Ward, a classical case, women have become political disgrace, tower, period of shame. Very strong words there from Samoa India. I wish we had more time that we would engage on this, but I hope that we'll stop being a lawless the situation. Up next is Willis Raburu. He'll be hosting Professor Hamo. They'll be talking about comedy on the next phase, something to smile about. Unfortunately, we're out of time. So thank you so much, Gladwell Cheruiyot. Apologies for that. From Baringo County. Homa Bay Woman Representative Gladys Wanga, Alice Ohome, Member of Parliament for Kandara Constituency, Eunice Lumallas from the Center for Multi-Party Democracy. Thank you for making time for us.
Thank you.
You must wear